Welcome back to the channel. Have you ever noticed something strange about truly wealthy people? Not the flashy ones. Not the ones posting their Lamborghinis on Instagram. Not the ones wearing designer logos head to toe at the mall. I'm talking about the quietly wealthy ones. The neighbor who drives a 10-year-old Toyota and just paid cash for their vacation home. The coworker who never seems stressed about money and retired at 54. The family friend who everyone describes as doing really well, but you would never know it from how they live day to day. These people have something in common, and it is not what most people think. It is not their income. It is not their inheritance. It is not their connections or their luck or their timing. It is their habits, quiet habits, daily habits, invisible habits that most people around them never notice because they do not look anything like what the movies tell us wealth looks like. Today, I'm going to share 10 of those silent habits with you. The ones that financially free people practice so consistently that they have become completely automatic. The ones that are building wealth in the background of their lives every single day, without drama, without fanfare, without anyone watching. Let's talk about what financially free people actually do differently. Today, we are keeping it focused and tight. 10 powerful habits. The ones that separate people who achieve genuine financial freedom from everyone else. These are not complicated. They are not reserved for high earners. They do not require a finance degree or a six-figure salary or a perfect financial situation. They require a decision. And then consistency. Habit number 1. And it sounds so simple that most people dismiss it immediately. Financially free people always spend less than they earn. Not most months. Not when it is convenient. Every single month. Without exception. But here is what makes this habit genuinely powerful and genuinely different from what most people do. It is not about deprivation. Financially free people are not living miserably on rice and beans to save a few dollars. They have simply made a fundamental decision about the relationship between their income and their lifestyle. They decided early and deliberately that the gap between what they earn and what they spend is more valuable than any purchase that gap could be used to make. They protect that gap like it is the most precious financial asset they own. Because it is. Every raise they get, they do not immediately upgrade their lifestyle to consume it. Every bonus, it does not become a new piece of furniture or a fancier vacation. It becomes a wider gap, more investment capital, more financial breathing room. The average person receives a raise, and within 3 months their expenses have risen to match it. The financially free person receives the same raise, and their expenses stay exactly the same, while their investment account grows larger. Same income increase. Completely different financial trajectory. Live on less than you earn. Not as a punishment, as a strategy. The most powerful wealth-building strategy that has ever existed. Habit number 2. Financially free people pay themselves first, and they have automated it so completely that it requires zero willpower. This is the habit that most people intellectually agree with but almost never actually implement. They plan to save what is left after spending, and there is never anything left. Financially free people reverse this entirely. Before a single bill is paid, before a single purchase is made, before the paycheck even feels like it belongs to them, a predetermined amount is automatically transferred to savings and investments. They set this up once. They never revisit it. They never negotiate with themselves about whether this month is a good month to save. The money moves automatically on payday, and they simply live on what remains. The brilliance of this habit is that it removes the decision entirely. And removing the decision removes the temptation. And removing the temptation means the savings actually happen every single month, regardless of mood, regardless of circumstance, regardless of what else is going on financially. Automate your savings. Treat it like a bill that must be paid, because your future self is the most important creditor you will ever have. Habit number 3. Financially free people know exactly where every dollar goes. This does not mean they obsessively track every coffee purchase in a spreadsheet every single day, but it means they have a clear, current, accurate picture of their spending at any given moment. They know their fixed expenses. They know their variable expenses. They know their investment contributions. They know their monthly cash flow to the nearest $100 without having to look it up. This awareness is profoundly powerful because you cannot manage what you do not measure. And most people, if you ask them right now to name their exact monthly expenses in every category, could not do it accurately. Financially free people could, because they built the habit of awareness early and maintained it consistently. The tool does not matter. A simple spreadsheet, a budgeting app, a notebook, a whiteboard on the kitchen wall. Whatever system creates and maintains clear financial awareness, that is the right system. What matters is that financial awareness is a non-negotiable weekly habit, not a once-a-year tax time scramble. A consistent, regular practice that keeps you in clear relationship with your money. You cannot navigate toward financial freedom if you do not know where you're starting from. Habit number 4. Financially free people have a fundamentally different relationship with time than most people. While the average person is thinking about this month's expenses and this year's vacation, financially free people are thinking about where they want to be in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years. This long-term thinking completely changes the decisions they make today. When they consider a purchase, they do not just ask whether they can afford it this month. They ask what that money would become if invested instead. A $30,000 car purchase today, invested instead at 10% annual return, becomes $200,000 in 20 years. That is the real cost of the car, not $30,000, $200,000. When they consider a career move, they do not just evaluate the immediate salary. They evaluate the long-term trajectory, the skills developed, the equity potential, the industry growth. When the stock market drops, they do not panic and sell because they are not thinking about this quarter's returns. They're thinking about where the market will be in 20 years. And historically, the answer is always dramatically higher. This long-term thinking is not pessimistic or joyless. It is deeply liberating because when you know exactly where you are headed and you trust the process completely, short-term noise loses its power to disturb you. Think in decades. Let that perspective guide your daily decisions. And watch how differently you behave with money. Habit number 5. Financially free people invest consistently. Every month, regardless of what the market is doing. They do not try to time the market. They do not wait for the perfect entry point. They do not move to cash when headlines turn scary. They do not celebrate when markets hit new highs and consider pulling back. They simply invest. Every single month. Automatically. Without emotion. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging. And decades of research consistently shows that it outperforms almost every attempt to time the market for the vast majority of investors. When markets are high, their regular contribution buys fewer shares. When markets drop, the same contribution buys more shares at a discount. Over time, across market cycles, the average cost per share is lower than it would be from any single lump sum purchase at any specific moment. But more importantly, consistent investing builds the one thing that no financial strategy can manufacture artificially: the habit of investing. The person who invests $500 every single month through every market condition, good and bad, for 20 years, builds not just a portfolio. They build an identity. They become someone who invests. And that identity is worth far more than any individual investment decision they will ever make. Habit number 6. Financially free people protect what they have built with the same intensity they used to build it. This means several things simultaneously. They carry appropriate insurance, health insurance, life insurance if they have dependents, disability insurance, which protects the income-generating ability that all their wealth is built on, adequate home and auto coverage. They understand that one catastrophic uninsured event can destroy decades of careful wealth building in a single moment. They maintain their emergency fund. No matter how wealthy they become, they always keep liquid, accessible cash available for unexpected expenses. Because even wealthy people face unexpected expenses. And having the liquid reserve means those expenses never require selling investments at inopportune times. They guard against financial fraud and scams aggressively. As wealth grows, so does the sophistication of people trying to take it. Financially free people are skeptical by nature. They never invest in things they do not understand. They always verify before they trust. They know that the most dangerous financial threat is not a market crash. It is a confident stranger with a too-good-to-be-true opportunity. And they pay attention to their financial life regularly. They review their accounts. They check their investment performance annually. They make sure their financial picture reflects their intentions. Neglect is the enemy of financial health at every level of wealth. Build it, then guard it, both with equal discipline. Habit number 7. Financially free people are obsessive, lifelong students of money. Not in an anxious, frenetic way, but in the way that curious, intelligent people engage with any subject they care deeply about and know will affect their lives permanently. They read. The average CEO reads 52 books per year. Financially free people read about investing, economics, business, psychology, tax strategy, real estate, whatever is relevant to the financial decisions in front of them. They seek quality information. They're selective about whose financial advice they consume. They look for people with actual results, actual expertise, actual accountability. They're deeply skeptical of financial content designed to entertain rather than educate. They learn from their mistakes. When an investment does not perform as expected, they analyze why without ego. When a financial decision turns out to be wrong, they extract the lesson and apply it going forward. They never let a financial mistake be merely painful. They insist it also be educational. And they stay curious about how financial landscapes are changing. Tax laws change. New investment vehicles emerge. Economic conditions shift. The financially free person stays current, not obsessively, but sufficiently to make informed decisions as conditions evolve. The financial world rewards the educated and punishes the ignorant. Continuous learning is not optional. It is the habit that keeps everything else working. Habit number 8. And this one is the silent destroyer that financially free people have deliberately and permanently eliminated from their lives. Lifestyle creep, also called lifestyle inflation, is the tendency for spending to rise automatically and invisibly in proportion to income. You earn more. You spend more. The gap stays the same. And no wealth is ever built. Financially free people broke this cycle. They made a deliberate, conscious, permanent decision that income increases would primarily fuel investment growth, not lifestyle expansion. This does not mean they live poorly. It means they are intentional about lifestyle decisions. When they choose to upgrade something, it is a deliberate choice made consciously after weighing the financial impact. Not an automatic, unconscious drift toward higher spending because higher spending became possible. They ask themselves one powerful question before any significant lifestyle upgrade. Is this genuinely worth more to me than the financial freedom it would otherwise fund? Sometimes the answer is yes. A genuinely meaningful experience, a health investment, something that adds authentic quality to daily life. These are worth funding from lifestyle budget. But a status purchase designed to impress people they barely know, a subscription they will use twice, an upgrade that feels important for 2 weeks and then becomes background, these do not survive the question. The question protects the gap, and the gap builds the freedom. Habit number 9. Financially free people do not wander toward financial freedom. They navigate toward it with specific coordinates. They know their number, the specific net worth that represents financial freedom for them personally. Not a vague feeling of being comfortable, an actual number. $1 million, $2,500,000, $500,000 plus a paid-off home and a pension. Whatever it is, they have defined it specifically. They know their timeline. Not someday, a specific year, a specific age, a specific milestone that serves as a North Star for every financial decision they make. They know their monthly target. They understand exactly how much they need to save and invest each month to reach their defined goal within their defined timeline. And they track their progress against that target regularly. This specificity is not obsessive. It is clarifying. When you know exactly where you're going and exactly when you need to get there, every financial decision becomes dramatically simpler. Does this choice move me toward the goal or away from it? That single question, applied consistently, eliminates enormous amounts of financial confusion and poor decision-making. Write your number down, set your timeline, calculate your monthly target, and then let that clarity guide every financial decision you make from this day forward. Habit number 10, and this is the one that surprises people the most, because it has nothing to do with strategy, accounts, or investment vehicles. Financially free people are genuinely, deeply content with what they have while they're building toward more. This might sound like a contradiction. If they're content, why are they still building? But genuine contentment and ambitious financial goals are not opposites. They are partners. Here is why this habit matters so profoundly. Discontentment, the constant feeling that you need more to feel okay, is the engine that drives lifestyle inflation, emotional spending, and the endless chase of the next purchase, the next upgrade, the next status symbol. Discontentment is one of the most expensive psychological states a person can inhabit. Financially free people broke this cycle by developing genuine gratitude for what they currently have, not as a resignation to having less, as a genuine appreciation for the present moment that removes the desperate urgency to spend their way to a feeling of enoughness. They enjoy a simple meal as much as an expensive restaurant. They find genuine pleasure in low-cost or free experiences. They are not constantly looking past what they have toward what they wish they had. This contentment does not make them complacent about their financial goals. It makes them patient. And patience, in a world of compound interest and long-term investing, is worth more than almost any financial strategy you will ever find. Be grateful, be content, and let that groundedness be the emotional foundation from which you build everything else. Now here is the thing I want you to genuinely sit with for a moment after this video ends. None of these habits are complicated. None of them require high income. None of them require a finance degree. None of them require perfect circumstances or lucky timing or connections in high places. They require a decision to live differently from the majority, a decision to value future freedom more than present appearances, a decision to build quietly, consistently, patiently, while most people around you are consuming everything they earn and wondering why they never get ahead. The people who are financially free today made that decision, often years or decades ago, and they kept making it every single month, in small ways and large, until one day the financial life they had been building quietly and consistently in the background finally became fully visible. And it was extraordinary. That can be you. Not someday. Not if you get a big break. Not if everything goes perfectly. If you simply decide to adopt these habits, one at a time, starting today, pick one habit from this list. Just one. The one that resonates most deeply right now. The one that feels most relevant to where you are in your financial journey. Implement it this week. Make it automatic where possible. Build it into your daily and weekly routine. Master it. Then add another. That is how financial freedom is built. Not in one dramatic leap. In 10 quiet habits practiced consistently over time. If this video gave you real value today, please hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this message. Subscribe for weekly content on money, wealth building, and financial freedom designed for real people building real financial lives. And drop a comment below right now. Which of these 10 habits do you already practice? And which one are you committing to start this week? Tell me. I read every single comment, and I want to know where you are on this journey. You are closer to financial freedom than you think. I will see you in the next video.